All right, so this will be a feedback slash critique for Dunkaholic. I mean, you're already in the Discord, but um, I go by Tekken Shazam. I'm just a nerd who likes Tekken and talking about it. Gonna keep it short. I watched the first few matches and watched this last one, and I feel like the issues I saw in the first few matches are still present in this one, and I'm just gonna be really focusing on this. The running theme is that you need to do more lows and more throws, as well as experiment more on your matchup knowledge. So let's just get right into it. Mm, okay, so when you do this fancy stuff of just doing repeated down forward one cancels, right? What is the game plan? What is your end goal you are trying to achieve here, right? If you're doing a mid like that, you're either setting up the backswing cancel or you're just trying to annoy them to stop ducking, right? And I believe you've achieved at least the second goal. I'm not fully certain about what backswing mix up that you were trying to set up. But at the very least, the idea of them to stop ducking is set up. Now they're just kind of moving around. They're not sure how to approach you, and they're very passive on defense. They're willing to let you press a lot of buttons, and then try to focus on punishing that, right? And so now they're not ducking. They're just moving around. You need to start slamming quarter circle forward three here, right? You always need to change up your tempo. Once you've established that you're doing a lot of mids and they stop ducking, that's when you start doing lows and throws. When you run up and do down forward two like this, what is the end goal here? What is your desire, right? Throughout this set, I would not say this opponent has been very mash heavy or aggressive on your offense, right? When you're pressing a button, he's content to either just let you press or duck or backdash, maybe block, right? Later on, he does, I think in this game, in this match, he does some more down twos and stuff, but nothing too crazy. I just think you should reconsider how or which mids you like using. I don't think down forward 2 should be your primary mid just yet. If the opponent is showing that they're willing to challenge your approach and offense a lot more, then yeah, down forward 2, fuck it, set it up, right? It's still not going to work out. You want to set it up with the backdash to whiff punish, as we'll see when the round ends, but you need to experiment with your mids more. You need to figure out where you can place forward 1+2. That'll be a really good pressure mid for you. You need to figure out where you can place down forward 4, right? Down forward 4 to set up movement mix-ups, right? And you need to just experiment a lot more. If right now he's just sidestepping a bunch, so you can't use your more linear mids, right? But you need to start figuring out where you can place quarter circle back 1, where you can place quarter circle back 2, etc., etc., right? I think relying on down forward 2 as your primary mid, you are too focused on the reward and not how to set up that reward safely. If I press down forward 2 10 times in a match, right, and it lands like, let's be generous, let's say 4 times, right? Yes, those are 4 launch opportunities. I got to the wall. I got to the what is it? I got to the wall. I got combo damage, Oki, etc., etc., etc. The whole works, right? But if I'm using down forward 4 instead, or even something like just a basic down forward 1 or forward 1+2, and I use that 10 times throughout the match, and of those 10 times, let's say 4 to 6 of them hit, right? Most importantly, I'm avoiding the issue down forward 2 has, where down forward 2 does not launch crouchers, right? So I'm avoiding that issue. I'm getting +8 as opposed to the awkward +3 that down forward 2 will have against crouchers. And I'm setting up more frame traps. And I'm getting free damage. And of the times, the main important thing is when they don't land, I'm leaving myself in a very decent position to still steal back a turn or move around, right? I'm a down forward 2 leaves me at -2, so then I can continue offense through movement, through challenging with a jab, stuff like that. I'm not I'm able to do more options to influence my opponent's decision making as opposed to down forward 2, which is just I got to block because I'm -8. You can be cheeky and press your armor moves, which have their uses, but again, it's just you have more options at -2 than you do at -8. I don't see pressing an armor move at -8 in the same realm as being able to sidestep and set up a sidestep launch. Just straight up. Let's keep going. If you get a counter hit launch with core circle back 3 like that, do wall standing 3 or wall standing 4, and then I think you should be able to pick up the combo. It's very distance dependent. At tip range, you don't get a combo, but it's fine. Right here, could you... It's fine, but yeah, if you're going to set up a backdash, just be ready to whiff punish when he approaches and then does something like a jab and it whiffs. That's when you should down forward 2. Okay, so... no, that's fine. He just had a flurry of moves. He started feeling the pressure and he cracked under the pressure, which is fine. Okay, this move right here, right? I'm not sure what it is. I'm not sure why, right? You never duck this move, and I'm not sure why, right? I get it, he has a mid follow-up, but you've played like 3 matches with this guy, and I've rarely seen him do the mid follow-up. You have to get in the habit of, you have to call out your opponent's habits. Just because the character has a mix-up built into some string or something, it doesn't matter. What matters is the probability of the opponent doing that option, right? Tekken is a numbers game. Just because the character itself has that option does not mean the player will use it. If the player has done, I don't know what string this is, back 4-3, whatever it is, right? If they've done a mid-high string 15 times throughout 8 minutes of gameplay, I haven't counted, I'm just throwing out a number, and they've done the mid maybe twice, maybe 3 times if we're pushing it, you are not doing enough to punish them, right? This is a launch opportunity, especially when he has heat. He always loves doing the heat dash cancel off of this move, and you need to duck. Your lack of matchup knowledge is you're losing out on on huge launch opportunities because of it. Give them a reason to do the mid option, which will typically leave them in a worse spot, right? You don't just let them use these strings for free. It's a running theme throughout the set where I don't think your character punishment is up to snuff. And I'm not saying you have to be perfect, but if we see common patterns like this kit mid-high string that this Dragunov has been doing throughout the entire set, we need to see more consistent punishment on it. That's fine. What did you press? If you have future uploads, please see if you can put on the player input so we can see what he's pressing and what you were pressing. This is fine. I mean, it's not that huge of a deal, but it helps give a bit more concise feedback. Okay, so this entire time that he is just pressuring you with a bunch of pokes and jabs and down forward 1, like after you block this down forward 1, why are you not jabbing, right? After his down forward 1, if he chose to jab you like he does here, your down forward 1 would lose. You have to think about how you set up your offense, right? If you're in an advantageous position, you have to quickly remember Paul is on the slower side of things. Unless he has at a specific frame advantage, his down forward 1 will lose to jabs, right? And it's not a frame advantage he gets often. He doesn't have like these lockdown frame advantage where he can just do jab, down forward 1, jab, down forward 1, right? So a lot of times you have to set up your offense with a jab, right? Yeah, Paul's jab is awkward. I get that. Well, guess what? You picked Paul at the character select screen, and you have to work with what you got, right? Figure out when you can jab and set up your offense. It's a 10 frame move that is plus on block and plus 8 on hit, right? If it's whiffs, you're most likely being too predictable, right? The people are not reacting to a 10 frame move, right? They're noticing a pattern and how you choose to apply your offense or defense and then taking advantage of that. But if you don't utilize a jab, these very quick opportunities, right, where he's just jabbing you out of stuff, right here, you didn't whiff punish the jab, but that's fine. You're backdashing, it's whatever, right? But because you didn't jab here, right, his down 4-1 beats whatever option you were going for. Maybe you were just ducking. I don't have inputs on, so it's whatever. But as you see a running theme here, if you don't start utilizing your jabs or even a down back 3, you're going to get smothered by the opponent's pressure once they figure out they can just pressure you with a lot of small moves. Here, you do try to do the 1-2, but by that point, you've let the opponent set up a lot of their offense, and it's a little too late, right? Honestly, also, this is like the first down 2 I think I've seen in this entire set. Anyway, a long rambling way of saying, once you're in this scenario of jab or down forward 1, start counter jabbing and start incentivizing him to do like the down 2 string and then, or down 2 string, the down 2 low, and then, punish it, right? Set up your punishment. The call out with the down forward 2 worked out. It is what it is. It worked out. I'm not going to harp on it, right? I like your use of wall standing 1-2 here. I don't really have much else to comment on this set. I think in previous sets, I think you just keep utilizing that as your primary method of offense. And it works out because he presses into it. I don't think he's familiar on how to handle the string. The demo man here is really good. Again, you would have killed him right there, but now you have to do another interaction because you didn't duck the mid-high, right? It works out, right? He's kind of not frantic, but he's not sure when to challenge your offense, and as a result, he kind of eats a bunch of chip damage, and then it's too little, too late, right? Especially eating the 1-2. Like the 1-2 here is good, but I need to see more of that, right? And not even just 1-2, just a basic 1 jab, just little 1 jab, your plus, set it up your offense, figure out what you can do with it, right? Yeah, it's not +4. Yes, it's not +3 force crouch or whatever, right? Again, it is the easiest frame advantage you will have access to, and quickly figuring out what your opponent's defensive habits are when they are at a -1 situation is how you can start building up offenses, Paul, right? Maybe they don't do anything. So then you go, okay, well at +1, normally I have to worry about them retaliating, but if they're not going to press anything, maybe I can go for a low. Maybe I can do back 4, quarter circle forward 3, etc., 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 right? Here, I think you do the first throw I've seen this entire set, and I'm not sure why, right? In all of these situations, let's do... Like right here, if you threw him, he's not going to break it. But throws are only like 40 damage. Right here, if you... Forget the 1-2, right? If you just threw him, you would have been fine, right? But the problem I have with your gameplay is that you are not throwing out early enough. So if we look at, all right, so we're at 7 minutes. I got to remember that. So we look at this early gameplay, right? You're doing a lot of jabs. You're doing all this setup. You're throwing a lot of mids and highs, and he's just blocking all day. And you're getting some pokes in, which is fine. But if at any point, instead of risking the mid-high string with piston fire, right? Instead of risking this string, if you had instead right here, right? Just right here, right after the jab. Don't do the string. Just do the jab into a throw. This guy does not move around. He doesn't backdash. He doesn't disrespect your offense with down 2 at all, right? I've watched this entire set. I don't think I see more than like 5, maybe 5 down 2s if we're being super generous, right? So instead of risking a low, right, that he can low parry, that he can disrespect with his down forward 1. You frame trap him with a jab at +1. You set up your back 1 +4. Any throw, typically back 1 +4 because it'll be 10 frames, right? It'll be 11 frames, then +1 at +1 frame advantage, etc., etc., blah, 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 whatever. And now, instead of just getting like a measly, however little damage quarter circle back 3 is here, right? This is unrecoverable damage, which is fair. But if you instead have just gone in for a throw, you would have gotten much more unrecoverable damage, as well as possibly setting up an Oki position. And more importantly, you are pressuring your opponent's mental stack. As Paul, you have a variety of ways to attack the opponent. You have throws, you have lows, and you have power mids. Right? You need to utilize all these options. He's not a stringy character, right? The mental stack pressure and the offense comes from a good read of your opponent's timing and calling out their offensive or defensive habits, and then also understanding that you have a full throw game. Use it, right? Counter hit throws are very powerful. Throws are homing as of the making of this video, right? That hasn't changed yet. I don't know if it will change, right? But having a 12 frame homing option is immensely powerful as Paul and needs to be utilized a lot more. Throws also control a lot of positioning. If you did forward 1 +2, this guy would go flying. You can run in and then immediately hold back and see if he whiffs a button, or you can just keep running in at him and push him closer to the wall, right? Maybe he's someone that favors the P2 side. If you did back 1 +4, now he's on P1 and maybe his offense is going to be a little bit more awkward, right? You have a lot of options between your wall spotting throws and how you can control positioning with your throws, and you need to be utilizing them a lot more. Where are we at? I think 7 minutes. I'm not sure why you went for the shredder kicks as an opening offensive option. This entire 8-minute video, right? He has not done. I think he did down 2 like once this entire set. Most of the time, his opening is either backdash or down forward 1. Both options where if you are done at the same time will beat your shredder kicks, right? I'm just not a big fan. I think, is it the end of the world that you open up with shredder kicks? No. But you are building up a bad habit that will harm you in the future, right? Typically, your openings are a bit more passive and safe, which is fine, right? I don't think doing 1 shredder kicks is the end of the world. But I'm trying to get you to think about, why did you do shredder kicks there? What was the reasoning behind it? What was his offensive or defensive habit, or what was the information you used to make that read, right? If you're just throwing it out because you want to say, fuck it, let's see what happens, you have to do better than that, because in the long run, you have to really rapidly take in the information that the opponent is giving you and then making a decision based off that. Not, I'm doing it based off vibes or something, right? Now you're playing on the back foot. You use down 1 +2 a lot. Normally I'd be critical of it, but it hits this guy a lot and he's not punishing it, so it's fine. But if that is your layer 1 defense, I think it's something that you need to reconsider, right? Movement, jabs, then throws, then power crushes, right? If you have a good read on it, down 1 +2 away, do it to your heart's content. Just be aware you are taking a risk. There are players that will punish you. There are characters that will consistently launch you. And it should not be like your main primary method of defense, right? You don't need to be calling out and disrespecting the opponent's offense all the time. You just figure out what they're pressing and then what the options are against it. Sometimes it's just blocking. Sometimes it's movement. But rarely is it consistently going to be, let me press down 1 +2 and risk getting launched for 30 damage, right? Okay, so right here, so you do quarter circle back 2. I don't disagree with the option, especially because it pays off near the end of this round, right? But if the opponent is not stepping a lot, just start doing quarter circle back 1, right? Force them into an awkward situation. Quarter circle back 2 is great. It is a powerful tool. I love it, right? but it leaves you at a very annoying situation on block. And I'm pretty sure the pushback has been reduced since Tekken 7 days, right? If if your opponent is just standing still and holding back, do quarter circle back one. It leaves you in a better spot. It puts the opponent in full crouch and you at neutral, and it lets you challenge their offense a bit more. Dragunov can be annoying in full crouch because he can do like his little full. He can do ultimate tackle and a bunch of other shit. But for the most part, I think the goal is you are left in a better spot because you can move around, whereas the opponent cannot, right? You're restricting your opponent's options and it makes them more predictable as opposed to I did a move when I didn't really need a reason to and left myself at -8, right? It's just not necessarily an ideal position to be in. Here he did the mid, but I don't know if you tried ducking or if you just ate it because of counter hit or something. The down 1+2 disrespect again is fine here, but if you just had a slightly bigger read on the opponent's offense, knowing that he likes his mid high strings, you could have ducked and then launched for massive damage plus O key, etc., etc. A lot more momentum, right? See, I like this here. You set up the throws, but don't do 1-2, right? Just do a singular one jab, right? If you know they're gonna mash, then sure, do 1-2. You'll get a bit more damage, but you're still +8. But do the one so that way you'll be at +1, right? Doing a throw when you're at -3 is asking to get jabbed out of your throw or eat a down forward one for no reason. If you instead do the throw when you're at +1, you set up that offense a lot more frame tight, right? There are less options the opponent has to interrupt you. Beautiful sidewalk here, or sidestep, whatever. Uh, but you need to practice the punishment here, right? Even if Dragunov's nerfed, when you run into a Dragunov player, if you're not back to launching their sidestep or while running two, right? You are losing out, basically. I think you were just caught off guard by the situation there. It's fine. It's not that big of a deal. But just at some point when you need to brush up on that matchup knowledge, get used to stepping, confirming that you stepped it, and then getting ready with for the back turn punish with 3-2 back 1+2. He did the mid, but again, like you never ducked it to begin with, so it's whatever. And this is what I'm talking about here, right? This is where I think you need to start utilizing down forward two a lot more. You did the backdash, he whiffed in front of you, and then boom, easiest down forward two of your life. This is how you should be utilizing down forward two a lot more. In the early sets, there was a specific moment. Let's see if I see it at any point. No. Call out with shredder kicks, that's fine. It's too late. I should have written down where it was. But basically, it's just a lot of I'm going to do down forward two a bunch, but there is no reason to, right? The opponent has not shown that they're willing to press a lot of buttons or challenge your offense a lot or anything that would set up that would make you get the high reward off of down forward two. I think that's the overarching theme here is that you are not doing enough to set up your mids. Your opponent doesn't really feel pressure until later on in the round. You need to really start racking up chip damage with your lows and your throws. That way, when the opponent feels the pressure and they start mashing a lot more, that's when your down forward two will start actually connecting, and not just connecting, but launching, right? Otherwise, down forward one, down forward four, try to use those mids a lot more. And don't always do the backswing cancel. Yeah, the backswing cancel is good. But again, don't make your timing stale by always repeating and committing to a backswing option. Mix it up a bit more. You do it a little bit because you did like down forward one, backswing cancel, death fist, and it hit him, and that was really good. But I'm talking about just do basic down forward one, now you're -2, utilize movement, be cheeky with a jab, be cheeky with a throw, right? This opponent is very passive on their defense. They wait for until they think your turn is over, and then all of a sudden, then they press a few buttons, and then they go back to blocking. This throws and lows are how you chip down and wear down passive opponents. I don't really have much more to say. I think you just need a lot more variety in your timing and your offensive options. I think you're too focused on maybe these high reward options and you're not doing enough to set up the high reward options. Use your faster tools. Use a jab. Use down forward 1. Use down forward 4. Set up your bigger rewards, right? Set up your frame traps with down forward 2. Set up that they stop ducking so then you can start doing lows or even stuff like Demo Man. Stuff like that. I hope some of this made sense. If any of it didn't, you know where I'm at. Feel free to ask questions and let me know. But otherwise, I will be out for now. Have a good one.